This is a STAAR guide to practice numbers 30 through 33. Number 30 says the table below shows the relationship between the number of drops of green paint, which is represented with the G, and the number of drops of blue paint, which is represented with the letter B, that are used per quart of white paint in a special paint colored mixture. Which equation shows the same relationship between the number of blue drops and the number of green drops of paint? A says 2 times G equals B. According to the table, when G is 4, B should be 8. So let's replace the variables with those numbers. Okay, so it's saying that 2 times 4 equals 8, which is true. You don't always want to take... Then the table says when the G is 12, the B is 24. So you can plug it in and see if it works. 2 times 12 does give you 24. Okay, we can just check the last two. 2 times 44 does give you 88, and 2 times 60 does give you 120. Since it works for all of them, you know the answer is A. Number 31 says the new office building downtown has 3 large concrete cylindrical columns in the front. The columns are 20 feet tall with a diameter of 4 feet. About how much concrete was used to manufacture the 3 columns? They want to know how much concrete you had to pour to make these cylinders, so you're looking for the volume. You're going to use a formula for the volume of a cylinder. The formula for the volume of a cylinder in your reference chart is V, which stands for volume, equals big B, or the capital B, which stands for the area of the base, and then times the height of the whole cylinder. Now you need to remember that the area of the base is a circle. So now you need to look at your reference chart and see what the formula is to find the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. So instead of the capital B, you actually use pi r squared. Then you'll multiply that by the height of the whole cylinder, and that's going to give you the volume of one of the columns. Another thing to be careful of is the fact that they said that the diameter is 4. So to get the radius, just remember divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. Then they tell us that the height of the columns are 20. So of course, they're 20 feet tall. So of course, the height is 20. I'll just put that in your calculator. And it should give you about 251.32, which at this point, some of y'all would go ahead and pick A, but you need to remember that there's not just one. There's actually 3 of them. So they want to know how much concrete you're going to use for all 3 of it. So what you need to do is multiply that number, of course, by 3. Which should give you about 753.98, which of course is approximately 754. Number 32, which equation represents a non-proportional linear relationship between the variables? Okay, just remember for something to be non-proportional, for an equation to be proportional, it must pass through the origin. Please make sure you write that. Please make sure you remember that. If you look at the blue part on our y equals mx, that would make an equation pass through the origin. But as soon as you add the plus b, the y-intercept, it no longer is going to pass through the origin. It's going to pass through whatever number that is. So that makes it non-proportional. So if we look at F is in the y equals mx form, so that one is proportional. If we look at G, it's 4 minus x, and if we replace the x with 0, it's not going to give us 0. 4 minus 0 gives us 4, which means that you will never have a 0, 0 coordinate, which means it'll never pass through the origin. Therefore, it is non-proportional. Number 33 says which set of real numbers is in order from least to greatest. Make sure on the test you underline the words least to greatest, highlight them, put arrows going towards them, circle them, whatever it takes for you to remember that you need to go in order from least to greatest. Because a lot of times they're going to have it going both ways, greatest to least and least to greatest, to make sure you pick the right one. All right, let's look at A. Okay, if I change them all to decimals so that I can look at it like money, there's two mistakes here. 50 cents is not less than 60 cents. And then, of course, 70 cents is definitely not less than 60 cents. Or actually, a negative 50, I'm sorry, is not less than a negative 60. And then 70 cents is not less than 60 cents. Therefore, A cannot be your answer. Okay, B I already changed to decimals. Already right here, the negative 25 cents is less than 30 cents. But you're never going to have a positive number that's less than a negative number. Therefore, this cannot be correct, so B cannot be your answer. If we look at C, you have a negative 50, which is less than 85 cents. But then, of course, 85 cents is not less than 75 cents. Therefore, that cannot be your answer either. All right, go ahead and flip it over and try numbers 30 through 33 on your own.